What's going on, everyone? My name is Noxis, and I am here to talk to you about the Noxis Genesis module project, what it is, so what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it. And for those of you who don't know me quite yet, my name is Noxis. I'm a heavy metal guitarist, a producer, composer, sound designer, all-around audiophile. I did around 10 ETH in primary volume last year as an independent artist, no labels, no distribution, no nothing except just me and my community and my art kind of just growing as an ecosystem and as a universe. So let's get into it. I want to explain exactly kind of step by step what this project is about. So here we go. So a little overview about my drop before we get into it and exactly what I'm doing. So the Noxis Genesis module is my current project, my current music NFT project that's minting right now. It's a 200 edition drop priced at 0.03 ETH each. And that is the current piece that I have minting right now at noxis.io/mint. And that is a full 25-second 3D art animation that an artist built in Blender, a professional 3D artist from Italy, one of my good friends. And I did all of the sound design, performance, music production on the Noxis Genesis module. So without further ado, I want to just dive into what this project is about. And it's essentially laying the groundwork for a sovereign creator built Web3 music universe. This is my vision of what Web3 can be, right? Because this project is all about exploring the potential of sound and music in Web3, and it is innovation through artistry powered by technology. That's really the core ethos of this project and how I view the overall creator ecosystem in Web3. So not only is this an art drop, and right, like I thoroughly believe the art itself is worth more than 0.03 ETH, but that's not really the point. The point is more about like what's being built around it, and I've really tried to build from my core, the core infrastructure out, and that's kind of how I think all creators should approach Web3. And for this mint specifically, I not only created all the mint mechanics, all the art. We deployed our own smart contract that's got gas optimized, etc. People have only been averaging like $10 per transaction for gas. But I also built Noxis.io, which is the core website from the ground up, from Codebase actually, before I even built the mint site, in which I put my own time and money into without even asking anything from the community to build it. Like I just went ahead and did it. And that's really the kind of main message that I'm trying to deliver with this mint. Is it's about building out a core infrastructure for creators to really reach sustainability from an independent perspective. So I built Noxis.io from Codebase up, which will allow me to be platformless going forward. So I won't have to depend on certain art platforms moving forward. Everything will likely be minted from my website. I will still use some platforms for some drops, but it won't be the core of my ecosystem, and it will actually be a benefit for my collectors going forward, because I can actually offer exclusive things that platforms aren't able to do. Even though my art is being sold on those platforms, I can't really offer exclusive benefits or access or claims for people who have already collected my work. So that is one of the big points about this project as well. So not only is it just minting the actual art and the actual token, but I've already built the core infrastructure around it moving forward. So as I go forward in the space and continue to do stuff, it will be from a sovereign perspective, and it won't be relying on any one entity to really sustain my career. So now let's dive into the how. How exactly am I building out my own sovereign universe using Web3 technology specifically. And it comes down to a couple of key things. So the first is that I'm building out a platformless token gated experience on my website for all of my collectors. So all Noxis Genesis module holders will have access to this token gated section on my website, which again I've already built out. When we're about 50% minted, and as of this video, as of this recording, we're about 30% minted right now. So after about 50% minted, I am actually going to start building out and executing on the first set of collector benefits that I have coming. I already have the idea. I already know kind of what it's going to be. And once we hit about the halfway part and mark of minting, we're going to initiate that, and I'm going to reach back out to my UI UX designers and all that stuff and get started. So that's the first thing. And because I'm platformless, and because it's not with a third-party dApp or application, it pretty much allows me to say, hey, if my collectors see this benefit as a value, then I can turn around and pretty much just add that at will to my website under the token gated section, because there's no one restricting me. So as long as it can be done and it's feasible, I can execute that for that benefit or that access or that special claim or discount for my collectors. It can be any one of those things. Any way my collectors would feel incentivized or they feel like they're being given value, those are things I want to continuously add to that section of the website, and that's exactly what it's for. And now for the second thing would be, the website is actually going to be hosting my music NFT drops going forward. So I'll deploy another smart contract that will be for minting my music NFTs from my website. I have some special drops coming up. I've been talking to 3 really amazing artists, and we're probably going to be doing a season of audio-visual collabs it'll probably be like a couple different artists with maybe 1 or 2 pieces each. So that's still in the works, still being finalized, but all of that can be hosted from my website going forward because the site is already built. It's not a promise that I am going to build it. I already did it and it's already live. My mint site is actually just a section of my actual website. So all of the infrastructure is already there. Just another page will have to be built for when the actual NFTs go live for minting, but otherwise it's already done. So that would continue to essentially sustain how I drop music. At the same time, I can do different one-of-one stuff on different platforms. But again, this project is all about forming the base, or like the core of what it means to be an independent creator and what exactly is the blueprint there. So that is a little bit about how I'm really trying to accomplish that vision, because you can't become truly independent if you are dependent on a platform or a single entity for your sales or your community or eyes on your work. That's just the nature of the space. And the last thing I wanted to touch on in terms of how I'm accomplishing this is bridging the gap between digital and physical. So I'm a firm believer that both of these experiences should mutually enhance each other, and they shouldn't be separate, right? It shouldn't be here's digital and here's physical. It should be here's digital and here's physical. So in this way, Web3 is very different than Web2 because there's a very clear separation of those things, and especially as VR technology advances and the accessibility to that technology also gets easier, these digitally scalable experiences that take place physically are really going to morph into like a multimedia experience or event. And that's exactly how I see music being consumed or enjoyed over the next decade. That's kind of my foresight into where I think this is going. And this project kind of lays the groundwork for the first step of me going into the physical realm. So I have this vision of immersive sound exhibitions starting in Chicago, but building a sister VR compatible experience that essentially mirrors what would be done if you were to attend the event in Chicago, and what it would sound like and what it would look like. So it's like, if you don't live here, or you can't get here for the opening, or you can't travel for whatever reason, then there is a VR, there is a very good digital experience available to you. I think that's incredibly valuable, because digital scarcity through events is going to be something that really revolutionizes performing and putting art, of pretty much displaying art to the public in unique ways. And that is really only possible to reach that level of engagement and emotional interest using Web3 technology. So using mechanics like on-site minting or time lock functions, depending on what the people get when they get there, and integrating NFTs in different ways that actually help with the experience, and that actually aid and enhance the experience when people are there physically, or when they put on their VR headsets and experience it in the digitally built environment. And those digitally built environments are going to be built in either Unreal Engine or Unity, and I'm going to work with artists pretty much at every step of the way to make sure I meticulously recreate the experience to the degree of quality, again, that it would be like you're actually there, that you're actually in the city where the event is, and you come, and if you were there, there's no gap, right? Because I want to make sure that everyone has fair access to my art, no matter kind of what background it is. So that's the next direction, and that's really where I see the artistic potential, is how far can you take your digital universe and your physical universe, and how do you take those two and create a symbiotic relationship to where both blossom. And that's really what I'm fascinated with about Web3, because I think Web3 offers all of the necessary tools for creators to thrive. And now, I guess in the next section here, I'll just go into why I'm doing all this, why go through this effort, or why try to build out all these mechanics. And it's a very simple reason. So this brings me to point number 3, which is, why am I doing this? And it's really to blueprint a creator model going forward. It's really a case for sovereignty, and it's really me trying to put the framework together for other people to really grasp onto and apply to their own context. And the first example of such is me giving my code base away to the community as an open source tool. So putting it on a GitHub repo that is publicly available. Anyone can view it at any time, anyone can analyze it, and even educating folks around how to use that tool and how to build their own, right? How to build their own Web3 enabled website, because it's the core mechanics and the core tools of blockchain technology is so powerful. It's connecting wallet, being able to mint art and support someone directly without any interference from any other entities. And I believe more creators can be sovereign in Web3. So a really integral mission of the Noxis Genesis module project, which again is really just the foundation for all of these different things that I'm talking about. The Noxis Genesis module paves the way for all of these experiences and the blueprints that I'm really trying to put together, iterate, and give back to the community. So I plan to do that in stages, but that is a really big part of this mission, because we're not playing in a zero-sum game anymore, because I can teach someone how to do something. Actually, anyone can teach anyone anything in this space, and it doesn't result in them losing, because we don't go through the same gatekeepers as we do in Web 2. We don't go through the same record labels. We don't go to the same talent booking agents. And for that reason, it opens the floodgates for artists to innovate at a grassroots level, figure out what works from a principle standpoint and from a fundamental standpoint, and then turn around and give that back to the community in some capacity. So I'll roll that out in phases, and again, the first such thing will be the code base on GitHub for my website that I've already built, and that will really pave the way for my frameworks kind of going forward. So I hope to really create discussion and discourse around that. I believe the future is sovereign for creators, for musicians, for artists. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot to build. There's a lot to give back, and there's a lot to create. And this is only yet the beginning.